Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a very, very, very special guest, infielder in the Dodgers organization. Chase Harlan joins Dodgers Daily. So, hey, Chase, wonderful to get to meet you. I know you got to meet Mark. You guys almost got to have an interview at the stadium there at Quake Stadium. So thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure meeting you as well.
Okay, so first of all, are you back home in Ohio or where you're, not Ohio, but Pennsylvania? Tell us where you're at and tell us what you're doing here for the offseason.
Yeah, I'm back in Pennsylvania. I have been moving around a little bit. My girlfriend goes to Clemson University, so for the first month of the off season, I was down in Clemson. I was down there training. I had my own little place and kind of in the middle of the woods, so it was nice to kind of just get away from everything. And I was living on my own, and my girlfriend had her own apartment, obviously, so she would be around a lot. So it was really nice to have her with me and just be around her every day. And I was training at Clemson and had a great group of guys that I was with there, a lot of the Clemson alum, and they let me come in and train and use their facilities, which was awesome. And it was good to be around a group of guys every day who would push each other to be better. So I was there from about the end of September till Clemson played FSU, and then I had to go to, which was I think the second week of November, and then I had to go to Arizona for like a swing camp at Camelback Ranch. So I was there for about a week, and then came home for 2 weeks for Thanksgiving, and then I went down to Columbia, South Carolina for the Clemson South Carolina football game. I have a few buddies from high school who go to school down there. So I was down there for that, and then I came home. So I'm back home now for good for the rest of the off season. But I've been enjoying my time at home. I mean, it's for sure cold here in Pennsylvania. I live like 45 minutes outside of Philly. So it's a little bit cold here. I think it was like 20 degrees when I woke up this morning. So getting used to the cold is obviously not fun. I spent a lot of time in Arizona last year rehabbing. So the 65 to 80 degree weather is kind of the norm for me right now. So getting used to this weather again is definitely difficult, but I'm enjoying being around my family every day. I spent a lot of time away from home last year, so being back and being able to sleep in my own bed and being back in that daily routine again, just back in Pennsylvania, it's very refreshing, and it's definitely something that's needed for sure.
Yeah. Pennsylvania, definitely a kind of a blue collar state. So I'm sure you grew up with those blue collar values of just toughness and hard work. And I've never met anybody from Pennsylvania that just wasn't gritty as hell.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves with, being from Pennsylvania. I mean, it's a cold weather state, so from November to really March or April, you can't really get on the fields much. Like, you're doing all your training indoors. And I was having this conversation with one of my buddies the other day, and he was like, when I got back from Arizona, he was like, yeah, like, what do you think about the cold again? Like, do you like being back here? Like, how does it feel? And I was like, honestly, like, I think there's something that's like gritty about being in this cold weather. Yeah. Like, you got to really go out there every day, and you got to want it, because some people can sit back and be like, oh, it's too cold to go out there. Like, I can't get my running in, I can't get my throwing in. Like, it's too cold. I can't do that. Like, you just got to go and do it. And I think that's something that's gritty that a lot of us Northeast kids, we like to pride ourselves in. And, it's very refreshing for us to go down south and go to places warm weather and play, because my whole life I've had to deal with the cold weather and, how to hit when it's cold and throw a baseball when it's cold, because it's definitely a challenge. So, I think there's definitely a gritty factor that comes from being up here. But I love it, man. I think it's definitely something that's molded me into who I am today.
So what was the link to Clemson? I know you were committed to them. I believe you were on campus whenever you got drafted. So what was the link there?
Yeah. So I had actually a pretty interesting recruiting story. I was committed to University of Cincinnati my sophomore year of high school. And then I ended up, their coaching staff ended up not being there anymore. So then I kind of opened up because they had no coach. So I wasn't even sure if I was going to go back there and if the new coaching staff was going to recruit me and all that. So I had opened up my options, played around with some SEC and ACC schools, but ultimately decided Clemson was the place for me. I mean, I went down there and took a visit with my dad. I was literally there for one day and walked out committed to Clemson. So I love it there so much. I mean, beautiful campus. The people there are awesome. The coaching staff is amazing. I mean, they're definitely the best coaches that I've talked to. Just about when it comes to like family and culture and that whole environment that they're building down there is something really special, and it was something that I really wanted to be a part of. So I feel like that decision for me was pretty easy to make, going to Clemson and being a Tiger. And obviously, like I spend time down there still. Like my girlfriend goes to school there, so I'm down there a good amount. And it's awesome down there. I mean, I loved it. It was very hard not to go to school there and go to professional baseball for sure.
Okay, so I got to know, did you get a pair of white cleats?
I did not. So I was there.
Oh man, how did you not end up with a pair of white cleats from Clemson, man?
Clemson, so they do. I was there. I got there right after the draft combine in June, and then I left for the draft to go home and be with my family for the draft. Wasn't sure if I was going to come back. Like, had no idea what was going to happen. And when I was there, they have a thing at Clemson where you got to earn your gear.
Oh,
so the freshmen, when you first get there, you're working out in just whatever kind of street clothes you got, and you just got to make sure that it's not black because that's the Gamecock colors, and you got to make sure that it's just presentable, and you're not like dressing like a slob, and you're ready to work out. So when I left, I think that's when they ended up getting like a T-shirt maybe, but they get T-shirts and a hat, and it doesn't have the Clemson logo on it, and they got to earn their Clemson Paul logo and all that, and I love it. I mean, that was something that honestly I thought was pretty awesome because I'm a big believer in you got to earn everything that you get. So I love that whole thing that Coach Bakich does down there, but I did not get a pair of white cleats, no.
Yeah, so CB East, and he played for the Generals, and you mentioned the culture part of it. That ties in perfectly to the Dodgers. It has to. I know you grew up with a bunch of guys there at CB East, and then in your travel ball squad with the Generals where you kind of all played together. It was like one big family. You guys were really tight-knit. And so that culture piece seems like it's really big for you.
Yeah, I think culture is everything for me. The guys who I played with in high school, those were guys who I played with in Little League. I mean, I grew up with these guys, playing with them since I was 7 years old. So to go into high school and play with those same guys that I kind of grew up in the game with, like, it was awesome for me, and it was such a like family atmosphere that we had, and I think that was honestly something that helped us be very successful on the field, especially my senior year. We kind of flipped a switch, and senior year we decided we got to go back to how we were back in the Little League days. Like, this is our, like, the seniors, we all had played with each other, and then I had always played with a year younger. So like the grad year below me was the age group that I played with because I was young for my class. So it was when I was a senior, I was a captain. I had talked to the other guys who were captains, who I'd also played with when we were younger. And we were like, we got to get this group how we were back in our Little League days. Like, when we were in Little League, we won a lot. Like, we won a lot of championships. We had a lot of great memories together. So we were like, all right, like, you know what? Let's get back to where we were when we were little kids, and let's just have fun. Like, that's the name of the game, is just you got to have fun. We got to make it as simple as we can, and just go out there and win ball games, and do it as a family and do it together. And so my senior year, we tried to do everything kind of together. Like, that was our big word, was together. We would do, we would have team dinners. We would go over to our buddy's house and just hang out, play cards, whatever. Like, we made sure that we were with each other 24/7. And I think that's one of the things that as a team can really help you be successful on the field, because you got to build trust with your teammates, and just going out there every day and playing with the guys that, you love and you trust, and, you go out there and play hard for them every day and work your butt off. Like, that stuff goes a really long ways. So my senior year was really important that we were all together and that our culture was good, and that there wasn't someone on the team who was, complaining if something wasn't going their way or they didn't have playing time. I mean, we just made sure that everyone was bought in. I mean, my senior year, one of my best friends who I grew up with, who he played baseball in Little League with me, and then he ended up just playing basketball. We got him to play my senior year.
Oh, nice.
So, like, it was one of those things where people wanted to be a part of the baseball team, because everyone knew, like, we had fun. We had a lot of fun, and I think that was honestly like one of the things that, has helped me improve in the game of baseball, because it gives me an idea of, like, all right, if I want to be on a winning team and win games, like, you got to have good culture and you got to be together. And it's that togetherness that it really does go a long ways. And I'm a big believer in it.
Well, you must have loved him, because you played, your last 3 years or 2.5 years in high school with a torn labrum in your hip. Is that right? Talk about that.
That's right. Yeah. So my sophomore year of high school, I was sliding back into first base off of on a pickoff attempt, which is actually a really funny, really coincidence. The guy who threw the ball to first base, we ended up drafting this year. His name's Robbie Porco.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I played against him in high school. He went to one of the schools. I went to Central Bucks East. He went to Central Bucks South. So I had gotten on first base, and I'm not much of a runner. So like, I wasn't planning on stealing, but I had a bigger lead, and he had a pretty quick pickoff move. So he picked the ball back to first, and my instinct was kind of like a little late reaction, and I tried to make up for it. So I dove, and I felt like a tear in my labrum, and I could hear it. And I instantly knew something was wrong. I took like 2 or 3 days off because like I was not gonna miss games. Like I wanted to win and wanted to help my team win. And I just ended up playing through it. We just were like, my trainer and I were like, it's probably just sprained, whatever. But I knew it was something worse because I did feel pop and like I could hear it. Like it was obvious that I'd done something. So I had played my whole sophomore year half of my sophomore year with a torn labrum. I played my whole sophomore summer with a torn labrum, and then from there on out, I really like the circuit. When I got drafted, like everything, I was playing with a torn labrum, and then I finally decided to get imaging right around the Jupiter, like the WWBA Jupiter tournament, my 17U fall. So senior year fall, that big tournament in Jupiter, Florida, with all the golf carts and the scouts. I was doing like a physical with one of my agents because he was like, "There's going to be teams that are going to ask you to." They're going to move you around a little bit, and like, we got to prepare you for this. So we're just going to do it with you. And I had told him that my hip had hurt and that has been bothering me for years. And he was like, this is the worst. I mean, this is the worst mobility I've ever seen on a hip. And I was like, yeah, like my hip has been hurt for a while. He was like, I think we should go and maybe get it checked out before the draft comes up, and like if it's something that you need surgery on, like we can take care of it now. And this was in October, so I went and got imaging in October down in Philly, and I found out that I had a torn hip labrum. They said that it's something where I could play through it and just deal with it and then get surgery after the season, or I could get surgery in November and then I would be back probably in April. But I think that there was some scheduling things with the surgery, so I don't think I could actually have gotten surgery until January of my senior year. So I knew that I didn't want to miss my senior year. I mean, that was so important to me to play for a state championship my senior year, and we had a good squad. And that's something that I didn't want to, be sitting in my living room one day and going, man, I really wish I would have played my senior year of high school. Like, that would have been awesome. And like all the other stuff that was going on too with the draft and everything, like it was kind of something that I just had to deal with and just play through it. So yeah, my whole senior year, I ended up just playing through it, had no shots or anything to numb it up, just kind of sucked it up. And there wasn't much I could do about it, really. It was just one of those things where, I just got to go out there and try my best. And if it hurts too bad, then I just got to act like it doesn't. So it was definitely one of the hardest things that I've ever had to go through. I mean, a lot of it too came mental for me. Like, I had to really tell myself, like, you got to go out there and help your team win. Like, this is something that this can't hold you back of going out there and trying to win a ball game. So it was very hard for me to, get through that. But I mean, when I got the surgery, it was like literally the day after I got it. Obviously I was sore, but I was like, wow, like I have a fixed labrum finally. Like, I can finally get into my hip when I swing and just move around pain free. Like, this is awesome. So I'm so happy that I got it fixed, but I'm also so happy that everything worked out the way it did, because I'm very happy and grateful that I played my senior year of high school.
Drew on that Pennsylvania grit, didn't you, to get through it?
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't help either when you got this cold day. I mean, I remember one game my senior year, I mean, it was 30 degrees outside, and your body's already pretty stiff when it's that cold, and it takes a lot to get warming up and get moving. So I remember that day, I was like, man, I don't know if I can play, guys. Like, my hip is, like, I can't even, like, a heating pad isn't even going to help me with this. Like, I don't know what's going to help me today. So, like, I was just like, whatever, I got to suck it up and help my team win. So it was tough. It was definitely a hard time for sure.
So Porco, I got to see him at West Virginia. Is he the tallest person in the world?
He's very tall, yeah. Very tall.
What's it like hitting off of somebody who's 6'8"?
Yeah, it's definitely different. So I actually flew out to Dodger Stadium during the season and faced
Oh, nice.
Glasnow when he was rehabbing. So I mean he's six. I think he's 6'8" or 6'9" too. And when you get into the batter's box against guys who are that tall, you're kind of like looking up to them, and you got to match their plane because their balls are coming down.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different. It's a big
You have to flatten your
adjustment.
swing to get to it.
A little bit. I think a
Yeah.
lot of it is kind of just like a mental approach,
Yeah.
but it's definitely different. Like you don't face a guy every day who you're looking up to. There was a guy who we played in the playoffs too, who pitched on IE, and I think he was 6'8" or something like that.
Yeah.
And it definitely makes it a little bit difficult because guys that are that tall too, they tend to get a lot of extension on their fastballs, and their fastballs usually play up. And guys like that, they already throw hard. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's just something that you got to just mentally stay locked in for. And you got to just know that their size isn't like, you got to step in there and be like, all right, this guy might be tall, but I can't let him intimidate me just because he's tall. Like, I still got to go out there and do my job.
Yeah. Yeah. So, third round, second pick of the 2024 draft, right behind Kellen Lindsey. So there's a lot of money out there NIL wise and rev share wise, especially in ACC schools, SEC country, a little bit more, a little bit less in the Big 12, but still some there too. So I'm sure you had a good deal there, both, the education, I'm sure it's great culture at Clemson. There was going to be some NIL rev share money there for you, but then you signed with the Dodgers. So why did you choose pro ball instead of Clemson, which was a good situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately a lot had to do with given my injury, the circumstance that I was at with that. If I had went to college, I had surgery scheduled for August 5th, and it was in Philly, so I would have been back at home, and I would have just rehabbed at Clemson. I wasn't sure if I was going to be ready in time for my freshman season. And I thought that that would kind of put me behind. I probably would have been a medical redshirt my freshman year because based off of the way that I like rehabbed and went about everything, like in pro ball, there's no way that I would have been ready for college baseball season. I wasn't really fully healthy until probably like May of this year.
That
So
makes
it
sense.
took, yeah, so it took a little bit longer than I expected. And they told me that it was going to be a 6 month recovery. And obviously the goal was for me to play third base at Clemson and be ready for that. But I now going through it, I really don't think that that would have been possible. I mean, it was a pretty significant surgery, and they had to clean up a lot because I had played through it for so long. So I think that like definitely that had a big factor to do with it. And I knew that the Dodgers were gonna really put me in good hands with their surgeon that they had in LA, and they have a good track record for drafting guys who are injured and need surgery, and it usually works out pretty well for those guys. So I kind of went with my gut and just decided to, sign with the Dodgers and get it taken care of that way. And I felt like from a player development standpoint, that was something where in pro ball I could really focus on, getting myself better and developing and kind of taking my time with the injury. Because the biggest thing for me is I need to stay healthy to get through, 100 and something games a year. So like if I can take my time and make sure that I'm getting the right coaching and making sure that my only focus is on recovering and getting better, then it kind of made sense for me to go to pro ball. So, and also starting your pro career at a young age is such an advantage too. I mean, you get exposed to guys who are 5 to 6 years older than you right off the gate, and it makes you mature a lot quicker than necessarily you would in college. College you're playing against guys who are around the same age as you, and how all that works. So like I think in pro ball you mature a lot quicker, and I think that that's something for me that was very appealing to me is like the amount of work that I'm going to be getting every single day, hands-on coaching. Like it's kind of all about you in pro ball, and you have your own path, and you can just go on that and ride with it. And
Yeah.
obviously going to Clemson would have been awesome, and I would have had the chance to go to Omaha every single year that I was there. But I think from an injury and playing time and all that standpoint, I think going pro ball was the best option for me.
And then also you're guaranteed warm weather there at the complex versus like maybe you have to go to Boston College for a weekend
Yeah, that's
road
very
trip.
true.
So, yeah.
Yeah, very, very true about that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so you're known for your power. Have you ever measured your exit velos?
Yeah, I get it measured a good amount, especially in game. We usually after our games, we can usually see. I mean, we have a TrackMan in our
Yeah.
dugout, like the iPad, so we usually see our hardest hit balls, and we'll like go up to each other after an at bat and be like, "Yo, you hit that ball 110!" Like, so like it's kind of like a fun little thing that we have. But yeah, I enjoy like seeing where my numbers are at. Like I like seeing improvement and kind of just where I'm at because then I can get a good feel for how hard I need to swing and kind of like less like my thing is less is more for me. So if I
Hmm.
feel like I'm not putting in as much effort and my exit velos are still pretty good, then that's when I know, all right, like this is where I can settle down my swing at. Like I want to be in this range. So I like measuring that stuff. I'm very big into the numbers. Part of baseball. That's something that I was never really big into until I became a professional. But yeah, no, I get my exit velos checked pretty regularly. Yeah.
So what's the highest one you've ever registered?
So my highest one that I've ever registered was
Oh,
114.5.
nice, nice.
That was in a game during the complex league season. And at the time, like I was really struggling with lifting the ball at this point. Like
Yeah,
I was
right.
just trying to figure out how to swing again and hit velocity. So I was hitting a lot of line drives. And the beginning of the season, I went on a stretch where like I would just hit a bunch of balls, 110 to 114, just like line drives right
Yeah,
at guys. And I was like, I went to my hitting coach. I was like, I got to figure out how to put the ball over the fence. Like I'm hitting the ball 110 to 14. Like these are outs. Like these gotta be, affecting my batting average positively instead of negatively. Like, come on, this is ridiculous. So we kind of figured that out a little bit as the season went on. But yeah, I 114.5 is my highest recorded.
so I say that to say very impressive in the sense that you're very good at that opposite field gap hitting the ball up the middle. You have a lot of you stay inside the ball well, so you have a lot of bat to ball skills in terms of not just being pull side power all the time. So talk about your complete offensive game.
Yeah, I think that's something for me that is a really big focus. Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't say that I necessarily try to hit for power. I think that's something that comes a little bit naturally to me. And I think it's something where the work that I put in the weight room kind of takes care of the power side of things on the field. So like my biggest focus when I get up there is going up to the plate every time and doing damage and making sure that I have the right, scouting report on the pitchers and making sure that I'm using every single part of the field. And I think that's like the biggest thing for me is like if I can use every part of the field, then that will make me the most complete hitter that I can be, and also adjusting to off speed pitches and adjusting to pitchers who'll throw a sinker in and then they'll go slider out, like those kinds of things. Those are really important to kind of just like keep track of. And for me, that's something that I work on every single day. Every time I go into the cage, I work on location and making sure that I'm, having the guy who's, feeding me, like if he's messing up my timing, whatever. Like I try to make my training hard so that in
yeah.
games it comes a lot easier to me. So like bat to ball for me has been something that's always been like a pretty big deal for me and has been something that has improved so much over time. And I feel like my whole life I've always had pretty good bat to ball skills. So that's something that just in pro ball, as I get more pitching or see more pitching and get more experience hitting high level arms, like that's something that'll just come more naturally for me and getting used to it and just being more comfortable.
Yeah. So do you have you sat down and made benchmarks for yourself? Like, hey, I want to have a strikeout rate that's below this. I want a home run for fly ball, rate of this or that. Have you sat down and put down benchmarks for yourself and tried to hit them?
A little bit, yeah. I would say the biggest focus for me right now is making sure that my swing stays consistent. Over
Yeah.
the course of the season, I went through a ton of swing changes. I kind of was struggling a little bit in the aspect of, like I said, lifting the ball, and
Yeah.
I was hitting a lot of balls hard just online. So that was something that I sat down with my hitting coach and was like, all right, we need to figure out a way for me to put the ball over the fence and just like hit the ball gap to gap a little bit more
Yeah.
consistently and kind of just staying locked in on one swing. So like the biggest thing for me especially is like rhythm in the batter's box. Like one of my tendencies when I'm not playing very well is that I get kind of stiff and like my body just isn't very loose and I'm not very adjustable to off speed pitches and I kind of like tighten up when I'm swinging. So when I'm at my best, I'm a lot more free with my hands. I'm a lot more loose. And it kind of just helps me naturally lift the ball a little bit. Last year, I would say that was my biggest struggle, was lifting the ball. I felt like in a strikeout department, I felt like I was pretty good where I was at for my first time seeing pitching. I felt like I mean, I'm a guy who hates striking out. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
want to put the ball in play every time. So, like, striking out for me is brutal. That's something that I never really struck out in my life before this year. So definitely mentally dealing with, all right, like sometimes you're just not gonna have it, and the pitchers are gonna make good pitches. Like, that's something that I had to get used to, and I'm still getting used to. So as long as I'm keeping my strikeout rate usually below like 25%, which I
Yeah.
think that I nailed this year, like I feel like I'm on a pretty good track, especially with kind of how scouts look at me, like as a power guy and guy who can put the ball over the fence, because there's not a lot of power hitters that are in the league right now who don't strike out a lot. So if I'm putting the ball in play and hitting the ball hard every single time, then that's something that goes a really long ways for me.
So do you hunt pitches early in the count based off of a scouting report and try to ambush those? And do you have a two-strike approach? Talk about those two aspects.
Yeah, so that was something for me this year that my whole life I've never looked into a pitcher the game like the day before. Like, I've never
Yeah.
done research on a guy. I literally would just go out there and see
Just
ball,
see it and hit
ball.
it.
Yeah, so like I do love that approach. Like, I think that it does work in
Yeah.
the minor leagues, but I also do think that to be successful against the high level guys, you do kind of have to look into their tendencies and see what they like to throw and what counts. And the biggest thing that I look at is the percentages of the pitches that the pitchers throw. So like if a guy has a high fastball percentage, like 60 to 70%, which is a lot of guys in low A and rookie ball, then I'll be like, all right, I'm going to be ready on the heater early in the count. And that helps me out a lot. It gives me an idea, like, this guy's going to attack me with heaters. And then if there's another guy and he's like 50-50, and then I'm like, all right, now I just got to make sure, like, I'm still seeing heater, but I want to adjust. So like for me, it's like my approach is kind of just as simple as it can be, really, almost to see ball, hit ball. But the scouting reports and all of that, like, that stuff does help me out a lot. And like looking at the heat maps of where the pitchers like to throw, like, some pitchers have tendencies to throw the ball in, some have tendencies to throw the ball out. So if a pitcher is, trying to pitch out and that's where he's looking, then I'm going to look to drive the ball to right center field and just adjust on a curveball and turn on something if he tries to beat me inside. So I usually like to trust my hands on like inside pitches. That's something that I kind of pride myself with, is I have quicker hands, so I can get to those pitches a little easier. So like I can get away with kind of sitting right center field and kind of sitting in spots, and that stuff helps me out a lot. But my two-strike approach is kind of, honestly, like, it doesn't really change much. I just kind of am making sure that I'm a little bit more aggressive at two strikes, but being smart and kind of seeing the ball a little bit deeper. So like two strikes, I'm trying to get my A swing off, but I'm also trying to be productive and have a good at bat. So like if I have to put the ball, like if I get fisted a little bit and have to put it in right field and just have a little blue pit, like, that works. That wins games for teams. So like whatever I can do in two strikes to, pass the bat over to the next guy, like, that stuff is huge for me. So it's just pretty simple for me. Like, I like to just keep it simple.
Okay, man, let me ask you a couple fun questions here. First of all, what we talked about your X and Velos. What's the furthest home run you can remember hitting in a game?
I think that it was during the complex season. I hit a ball 112, and it was a game where I had hit two home runs. Emil and we had went back to back to back, and then that was probably one of the furthest home runs that I'd hit in game. Before that, and then the next at bat, I hit a ball 112, and it just went straight in the air, and I didn't see where it landed, so I'm assuming that it went pretty far. It was during the night, and I don't know if we had the TrackMan up and running for that, but I think that was the furthest ball I've ever hit. I mean, if I hit 112, then I'm assuming it went pretty far, but there were some balls that I've hit in high school where there's obviously no TrackMan or numbers like that, but my furthest recorded ball ever is 454 feet at the combine.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, that was at the draft combine. Obviously in DP, so it's a little different, but
furthest one of the combine, by the way.
Yeah. But I
That'd be cool.
if I ran into a ball, I think I could hit it a little further than 454.
So the back was yours the furthest?
Emil's was pretty far. Co's was just a great piece of hitting. Kind of snuck over the fence, and then mine I went dead center. So a little bit further of a ballpark out there. So that was a pretty cool moment. Definitely a top 3 moment of the season for sure.
Hey, boys, hold my beer. Watch this, all right? Love that. Okay, so you talked about how special your senior year was in high school. In Oklahoma, they call it the state tournament. I know you guys call it the District 1. I don't know if you call it a state tournament or whatever, but you made that run. What's your favorite moment that you can remember from that run?
I would definitely say clinching the state tournament. So to get through so you have to win your district you have to finish top 4 in your district to move on to the state tournament. And because our district is like kind of the whole area of Philadelphia, like we have a huge district. So it's pretty hard to win and qualify for the state tournament. And winning or just qualifying for that, like I remember the game that we qualified for the state tournament, like that was a really big deal for all of us. I mean, when we won that game, we kind of treated it like it was our championship. I mean, obviously the job wasn't finished, but like that was a really big deal for our school too. Like we had our baseball team, I don't think had ever made it to the state the state tournament before. Like it was a really big deal for us, and everyone that was supporting us was very proud of us, and that was a really cool moment for us. And especially my senior year, like going out and just knowing that like we made an impact on the school history, like that was a pretty big deal for us. So that was very rewarding to just get to the state tournament. But I mean, it didn't end how we wanted it to, but just getting there alone was a pretty cool thing for us.
All right. So you played with Brady Smith, right?
Yep.
Okay. So he's from Tennessee. He's got that Southern drawl, right?
Yeah.
So who talks weird? You from Pennsylvania back Northeast, or him from Tennessee? Who has the weird accent?
Brady definitely has a little bit of a Southern accent for sure. Some of the guys who I play with, they come at me. Sometimes they say that I say things a little differently. But one of my friend Jaron Elkins, I roomed with him in California, and we watched an episode of South Park one day, and it was called "It's a Jersey Thing." And the whole, like the rest of the summer, he would go, "It's a Jersey thing," because I live like on the border of PA and Jersey, so like people that are from my area like work in Jersey and all that, so it's kind of like the same kind of thing. So like that was like a running joke for us, like it's a Jersey thing, like it's a Philly thing. Like that was a funny little joke that we had going on. But Brady's got a little Southern accent for sure. But I think I do say some words a little differently. People have told me.
Okay, most important question of the night: are you a Steelers fan?
No, I am not. Not at all. No way.
No Steelers. All Eagles, right?
All you can see the little poster in the back. Go Birds. Obviously not last night, but yeah.
Oh, Jalen Hurts gave the game away the other night, brother.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't watch the Eagles anymore. They stress me out too much. So after they blew the lead to the Cowboys a few weeks ago, I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop watching. I'll pick it up again if they make the playoffs, and we'll be good there. So. Okay.
Last question here. Have you ever seen your manager John Shoemaker out of uniform?
I have, yes.
Oh,
I have.
That's rare.
The one time that I saw it, we were traveling to, I think, Visalia, and I saw him without a uniform, and I like hit a double take because I saw him in the office, and I was walking by. I was like, "What's up, Shu?" And then was like, "Whoa, Shu, you don't got your jersey on? Oh my gosh, this is crazy." But yeah, no, that guy's a baseball lifer. He's awesome. He's the man.
Yeah, it's like being a second grader and seeing your teacher at Walmart. You're like, you're not supposed to be a real human being. You're supposed to just be my teacher, right? Yeah. Hey, Chase Harlan, what a wonderful time this has been getting to know you. What a wonderful young man you are. Just a tremendous career you have ahead of you. So thank you so much for joining Dodgers Daily.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.